Are you trying to create a startup and you need a technical co-founder? Well, stay tuned because this might be the video that you have been wanting to see. Well, where do I begin? It's been very difficult to even get this video started. I've just been so busy, and I must admit I've been really sort of caught up in the world of procrastination. But here's the thing, today is a really big episode that's actually taken me quite some time to organize, trying to get hold of someone who I could interview that could have really valuable information for people like myself who are non-technical founders and they are seeking a technical founder to have some guidance on the technology and really figuring out how we build this and what that looks like from a cost perspective. So in around about an hour and a half, for you will be instant, I've got the honor to speak with Anthony Kelly, who is the co-founder and managing director of a company called DeepRec.ai. This is going to be really useful if you are working in this space. So if you're looking for a job within AI, if you're looking for technical co-founders or for staffing who specialize in AI, you might want to tap them up. So I'm just finishing up some of the questions now. I'm pretty happy with this. I think these are questions that we all want to know. This is my first interview and I am incredibly tired. It's kind of like towards the end of the day for most people. I've finished my shift for a contract that I'm on, working on an incredibly complex AI brain for healthcare at the moment, and now I've got to be tip top and get ready to interview someone. But I'm really interested to see how these interviews go because I want to sort of speak to a lot more people, so it's really useful if you guys could just drop some stuff down in the comments of what you'd really like to find out about. I can either A, teach you exactly how to do that, or B, we can go on this journey together where I reach out to someone who does know and I can interview them, and this can be like a collaborative effort, but you can use me as the vehicle for your questions. It's like an hour and a half left until I've got this meeting and I feel like I need to crack out the energy drink. I try to not have too much caffeine, but my God, I really do need that. So let's go get a drink, baby. Wow, now I'm feeling good. I need to learn how to preserve my energy. Okay, now is the time to be professional again.
A few moments later.
So I've just done the interview, spent about an hour with Ant, and no audio. The whole time, no audio. I have got so much to learn in this game. Luckily, Ant has given me his time again tomorrow where we will try to do it again. But for now, I need to just come away. That is so disappointing. Ant, my man, thank you so much for giving me a second opportunity here. I've documented on my channel how the first one went wrong. It's all a part of the process. But welcome to the channel. It's so good to have you. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, Brad. Thanks, and of course, look, thanks for having me. Shame about yesterday, but look, we have challenges. We move on.
Absolutely, no, very true. So, Ant, do you want to just give a little background to the viewers on who you are and what it is that you do? Maybe some of the companies you work for, just to give people an idea of DeepRec.
Sure, yeah. So yeah, I'm Anthony. I'm initially from Dublin in Ireland. I've been in tech staffing for about 12 years, moved into AI staffing about 7 years ago. And for the last 5 years, I've been working with Trinovo Group, and over, I'd say the last year and a half nearly is when I created DeepRec. Basically took all my experience in AI staffing and put it all into DeepRec, really very community first approach, leading to be very close to decision makers, founders of AI, because that's where we actually feel like we can add impact and value. And by that, I mean, we do offline events in London, Germany, Zurich, as well as also hosting a podcast show, which is for founders, VCs, aspiring entrepreneurs and leaders of sort of scale up startup AI businesses. That's called the Leadership Labs. Like, I mean, as a business, we've worked with some of the coolest AI startups that you can, from autonomous driving companies to Sam Altman's latest startup, WorldCoin. So some big names and some big investment in that space. Safe to say that we can put our name beside quite a bit of it.
That's so cool, man. It makes me even a little bit more nervous to be having this conversation with you. So established. I mean, I've heard about you guys for a long time. Obviously, I work in AI myself on the design side, so I was just so keen to get this conversation going. So it's much appreciated. So I guess a little bit of a background then. The reason why I've got in touch with you is because I am a founder of a startup who is seeking a technical co-founder. And so I will jump in on my first question for probably the same reason why people clicked on this video, which is if you are a non-technical founder and you are seeking a technical founder, what's the best play here? Like, how do we get amongst these people and start conversations? What would you recommend is the best way forward to find a technical co-founder?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a couple of things, right? You can go into one where the pressure is taken off you. The responsibility of assessing their technical skills is actually taken off you. And what I mean by that, there's companies like Antler, Y Combinator, Stars, where they pair up aspiring entrepreneurs, both from a technical and a non-technical side. You do a lot of meeting and greeting. You choose the person that you gel with or that you have similar ideas with. You build a business together. Now, that is from you can have an idea or you don't have an idea. That's like, I just want to be an entrepreneur. I don't know what I want to do and I don't know who I want to do it with. That's what those guys are good at. Where you've got an idea, ideation, and you know what you want to do, it can probably be a little bit more tough, right? You feel like you got to protect your little golden goose. Don't want to give up too much away. You feel like people can take your idea, build it, and go ahead to do it without you. But to find that engineer to do it, you kind of have to put some level of trust in them, give them quite a bit more, but then to actually also check and prove their skills. I mean, one thing that we can all do and get better on is like competency-based interviews. And I mean, you don't need to understand what they're actually doing. Or if they can make you understand what they've done when they explain sort of projects that they've worked on, their delivery, or most importantly, as I would always say, getting something from 0 to 1, so from an idea into an MVP or a POC. If they can explain to you step by step how they've done that, that would be, I guess, an easy way to validate. But again, it's how good is that? That's I mean, even me, I still can't, I don't read code after 12 years, right? But it's a good way to sort of get some early validation. There is a lot of startup communities globally, London specifically, any sort of major city in the world. They will have startup events where aspiring entrepreneurs can go meet other people. You will find some tech people there. Maybe they could be your co-founder, they could be your partner, or these guys just as a community will actually come together and assess people for you. And look, don't get me wrong, they will probably ask something of you in return. But that's sort of what's so great about these sort of like community events. People just urging you to make that step and also being like, look, if you make that step, I'll take that step with you.
Yeah, absolutely. You actually touched on something there that given me some ideas around a problem I'm facing, which is since my last video, I'm very, very fortunate to have a few developers send me friend requests, which was really cool because I'm an extremely small channel. So I was like, wow, this thing's spreading. And they messaged me interest in finding out more and, how they can maybe partner up with me, which got me incredibly excited until they ended with questions like, what is it you're actually seeking from a technical founder? And they started to want to sort of speak technical with me, which was kind of like the second biggest blocker. Obviously, the first biggest blocker is finding them. And the second one is how do I actually talk to them? So being non-technical, I'm really sort of unsure on how to have those conversations. And I thought what's really cool about you is that your organization has such success in finding these technical people, yet you are not a technical person. So clearly there are things there that you are able to qualify to see if they are right for your clients. And also when you onboard your talent, I know that you work with exceptional people. So even putting those people on your books, there is like a requirement. What would you say is like a simple way to sort of qualify these people? You mentioned about the way that you interview and stuff like that. Could you sort of elaborate and give some tips on how we can actually qualify these developers?
Yeah, so I guess look, no one is everyone thinks they're great at interviewing when they're not, right? Because you don't interview every day. Everyone thinks they're great at interviewing on the other side as let's say a hiring manager, but they're not, because again, you don't do this every day. The things that we practice and train for, that is not one of them. So if anyone thinks they're great at interviewing, they're not, sorry to tell you. But you can sort of follow principles, right? Most people will have a framework how to do business development, how to create a storyboard, how to create a tech product if you're a software engineer, but very few people actually have a process how to interview. So designing a process around that, and by that I mean create and find out what you want to know and create a competency based framework around that. You ask someone, what ownership, how have you delivered from 0 to 1? And then I guess what's the question, is it how do you can you ask someone why 5 times? Is it 5 times, or is it more or less?
Yeah, we use the same principle in UX. Trying to get to the root of something, you want to sort of ask.
Yeah, so
times, yeah.
Someone's got to understand the business reason behind the software engineering, for one, right? I was like, oh, we built this front end platform. Why? Oh, because our customers wanted to use it because the last one was messy. Great. Why? Oh, because there were 7 input fields for them to get to the next page, and we made a 3. Why? Oh, because it reduced the amount of it reduced the dropout of click throughs by 60%. Great. Why? Because it was an easier UI, right? It was like, sometimes it is that simple, but when people like it will really challenge how much someone actually knows about a problem. In the easiest way, without technically reading the code, of course. You can also go for referrals, references. You can ask someone, I'm pretty sure if you pay someone 20, 30, 40 pounds, they will sit in and ask you some questions for someone just to validate that. You will have a friend of a friend of a cousin who can be a software engineer and validate, right? There's a lot of community and networking that you can do to get more value for your time as well.
Yeah, that is actually really, really good advice. I love that about creating a framework. I think this is something that people skip. You just kind of assume, you have a conversation, it's kind of unplanned, you ask some questions, but actually having a framework that you can reuse with different people, I think is a really good way to also synthesize that conversation, because you'll have these blocks that you can look into, and how did they answer these questions and how did they answer this? And I think this is really, really cool, which I guess leads me to another question then, is that this is clearly the right way to do. But what would you say are that you've noticed common mistakes from founders when they are trying to find a technical co-founder, or just a developer in general for their business? Have you sort of identified any mistakes? You hear them say it and you think, oh God, it's another one making the same mistake.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily even in just finding technical co-founders, right? In creating and setting up businesses. A lot of people, like, I've seen businesses be set up by 3 software engineers that have left the same university degree, and they all go in to be co-founders. Ultimately 3 people with the exact same skill, right? And then they have to break out into a business. One has to move into operations, one has to move into a CEO, and one stays in tech. Creates a lot of resistance between the people that don't want to do it, for one. So sometimes, hiring your best friends from school or whatever it is might not be the best case. Yeah, great, you'll have trust, but ultimately what you want to be doing is looking to hire someone that doesn't have the skills you have, because as a startup, right, you want to be lean. You want to be able to have someone that can who can understand the P&L of why software is costing X amount. You don't want to be the CEO who's running all finances for the business side of the business and the tech side of the business. I mean, that's just one simple example, right? But there's so many different cases where it will exchange over on that. So you want to find someone who can do the stuff you can't do or you don't want to do, and then vice versa. Other challenges. I mean, I've touched on the friend thing. I guess for me personally, one thing that I don't agree with is when people say, "Oh, your business is like a family." I was like, I kind of have to disagree with that, because if your family doesn't show up or is inconsistent for a week, 2 weeks, they're costing you hundreds of thousands, hemorrhaging clients, you don't fire your family. So I think it still has to be a different type of environment when you're doing it. I'd never describe it as a family environment. I would say, look, we're here to create something that's going to be truly successful. Not that, hey, we want a family style business that's going to be quite lifestyle, because you will face scaling issues with people's mentality when it comes to that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to address an elephant in a room when we talk about scaling scaling and all that kind of stuff is budgets. And you and I both know, as everyone is competing for the race to AGI, and everyone wants sort of AI into their products and services, the demand for the developer is sort of skyrocketing, and that means salaries and day rates are not extortionate by any means, but they're just crazy, right? So I've seen roles advertised for £750,000 a year plus, and I'm sure you've seen them go even higher than that.
You've seen seven figures.
7 figures, yeah. I think something like an OpenAI researcher was like on 2 million or 2.5 million. I mean, it's crazy, right? So when you're trying to create a startup and you don't have a network, you probably don't have 7 figures knocking around on one hire, right? So if you want to build a team around this is why these companies are spending billions. What's your best advice for someone that has really minimal budget? Do you have to compromise on seniority, like go to a university and find a graduate, or can it actually be true that you can find someone very seasoned who would come in? Like, how do we navigate that big elephant in the room and get them on board?
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is one where it comes into at what stage you are in the business. As I said, if you've got no idea what you want to do, but you're an aspiring entrepreneur, Antler, Y Combinator, Techstars, they're your go-to. You will find the co-founder. They will pay you a very small salary for like a 12-week program. And if that's successful, you can raise money, but they will pair you up with someone who is also technical so that you can build a product. You can go from 0 to 1 in 12 weeks. It will either work or it doesn't. And that's it. You're out. No more support after that. One that I've experienced with now, let's say something that I've never done before, but I know we've spoken about it. I want DeepRec to go into DeepRec Ventures in Q4 where we'll make angel investments. I'm kind of like paying one forward for a company where I'm happy to take a fee off them after they raise money, and I will take an equity only because I believe the founders, I believe in the idea. I think it's really cool. This doesn't really happen, but he is also not offering a salary at the start. And I'm like, right, how does this work? And got me thinking, right, maybe this is a very good potential option out there. So he wants to target experienced people who are really good, who can build something to go from 0 to 1 part-time. He has got the product roadmap written out. He knows what it is. He's got customers ready to trial this software as soon as they can get their sort of minimum viable product. When that's done, that's it. The tech person has done their part-time job. They could probably develop this in anywhere between 3 to 6 weeks. And then it's his responsibility to raise the money. So that one's definitely coming in a little bit more on trust, of course. So if you be willing to do something off that, then there you go. You can have a business with relatively low risk. If you're an aspiring entrepreneur, you want to keep your full-time job, and then you can, if you raise money, you can then have a salary in 3-6 months time after you raise some capital.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, because I think that's kind of why I'm having to work during the day as well. I'm sort of doing this part-time. Maybe a few years ago, you could have just went balls to the wall and just taken a huge risk. But I'm definitely not risk averse. I've made many risks in my life, and I'm very fortunate that a lot of them have played out quite well. I'm hoping this one does as well. I just need to find someone who has that same belief. I do have a spare bedroom, so the developer can live here rent-free. That's no problem. You want to live somewhere cool, you can set me up. But and I just want to mention as well something you just mentioned around investing, and this is another sort of arm to your many tentacles you have in the community, which I find fascinating. So we have that you do offline events. Obviously, you do a lot of recruitment is the core of it. You have set up Discord channels. You're now looking at how you can invest and mentor the scaling of some of these AI companies. Could you sort of like elaborate more on this, on these services, and where people can find you and be a part of this? I know that there will be entrepreneurs like myself who are looking to build these products and find these people, but then there's also going to be a ton of developers who are interested in the journey, who probably would like to get on your radar as well. Could you just elaborate on that?
Yeah, so our online podcast is called The Leadership Labs. We're on all leading Spotify's, iTunes channels. The ventures has yet to be launched, but that will be launching in Q4. A goal in mind to make small angel investments into companies, but as we said, help them on that sort of hiring strategy. The number one thing, and I guess this is where we've come from it, is when a company raises money, the second thing that they're asked is where you're going to get the talent to deliver on the roadmap that you just presented to us. Because that's when a VC gives you money, that's all they care about. So when we make these angel investments, we're able to then make that commitment with this company. Hey, when you go for pre-seed, seed, Series A, you can say we have a partner who has helped us get from 0 to 1, from all product feature releases in there, and you can actually have a solid foundation as to say this is how we acquire talent. We acquire top talent. So yeah, I mean that was the sort of goal in that one. I mean, I've always wanted to be close to founders, as I said at the start. The podcast goal was to be close to the decision makers, the movers, the shakers, and I thought, right, what better way to get in there than speak with people who are going to be developing the next groundbreaking products.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. I mean, it's something that certainly appeals to me when I'm at a stage where I'm ready to do something like this with you. I think it's probably one of the most advantageous partners you could have, because finding talent is everything, right? It's people make companies. And so finding the right people, you're funding them, you're advising them, and you're finding top people. I think it's an absolute brilliant idea.
In a way, when it comes to it, we kind of know who the next level of entrepreneurs are already, right? Whether they're leaving their job, whether they're like whatever it is. If they're leaving, great. We know because they want to go and make a startup. We also are speaking with senior people who are ready or looking to make a leap beforehand. And I guess these are the sort of people that your Antlers, Techstars don't have access to. So yeah, we are also probably going to look in the line, like I'm doing the hiring for this guy for a co-founder of some kind of matchmaking service as well. Yeah, I think it would be a next simple step of just adding one small action for us, but could be huge for a lot of other people.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to stick all of your details in the description of this video so people can reach out to you directly and to the wider company. We'll link all your events. I highly encourage anyone watching this to attend these events. I will be there as well, so it will be great to have a beer with people and get to network within the community. Closing thoughts then, Anne. I'm going to leave you to it because this is the second time I've interviewed you and I appreciate you're super busy. So once again, thank you. But is there any final words you'd like to close on to anyone who is sitting here with an idea, who's really frustrated on how to find these people? Any sort of words of motivation or anything you'd like to close on?
Oh, do you know what? I would say just go for it. It's never the right time to start a business, but you will always kick yourself saying that you didn't do it 6 or 3 months ago.
Completely agree. Well, and thank you, mate, so much. It's so great to speak with you on this. You've had some really, really useful tips here that I will certainly be implementing. Hopefully the people watching this video will as well. And until next time, my friend, let's keep in touch and I will speak to you very soon.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye. Okay, so there we have it. My first ever interview. Personally, upon reflecting on it, it's showing some weaknesses I have on the editing side. I really need to get better with audio and visuals, but hopefully you're not focusing too much on that and you're just focusing on the content itself. Personally, I thought that, Anne's had a lot of cool ideas that I will be certainly looking into. I really liked when he was talking about creating a recruitment framework, having a process in place to really think about what it is you need and how you're going to qualify those people. And also the 5 whys. This is a principle that I use anyway, where you ask the question why 5 times, and essentially you will get to the root cause when you actually continue to probe deeper and deeper. So I really hope you enjoyed that video. Please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. I'm very, very new to this and I could really do with the support. Be really appreciated. I do hope you enjoyed this video and you have taken something away from it. As mentioned before, please leave a comment on if there is anything you would like me to talk about and show you, or something that we can actually explore together through interviewing more people. I want to create a channel that is beneficial to everyone and have a lot of fun along the way. So until next time, guys, all the best. Brothers out. Like, as if it's midnight. I've got to be up in like 5 hours for work. Never ending.